Hello and welcome back to the Wolf Plays, our Lone Wolf Wednesdays. We're up to Book 6, Kingdoms of Terror. Game? Okay, there is no story so far. How weird. We're up to our final skill. There are 20, Dutchy. There are at least 20. And then there are some in the, like, he has retired and become Yoda, and now has new disciples post-series. But I didn't know about those. At least, I don't think I remember them from being a kid. Game? Ah. Okay. Well. Please hold. We are... Oh, well, that didn't take very long. And that will probably mean we can redo the, we might be able to redo the other thing as well. So, new skills. I don't remember these. So we get upgraded animal sense. No, we definitely want healing. Invisibility? Okay, so that's just improved camouflage. What's hunt mastery? That's improved hunting, sure. Craftsmanship is improved tracking. Psi Surge is improved Mind Blast. Psi Screen is improved Mind Defense thing. What is Nexus? Okay. So that's Mind Over Matter, kind of. This is Sixth Sense. And improved weapon mastery. How many of these do we get? Okay, we get 3. Healing is too good to not have. I'm gonna go with Sixth Sense. Invisibility sounds good. Although Hunt Mastery, it's so lovely not needing to, ever hunt for meals. Let's go with Pathmanship. Detect Trap and Pathfinding sounds useful. Okay, last time we were punished for not depositing enough gold. So let's deposit more gold. I can't imagine the comb, the prison... I don't remember that bottle. I will keep the rope. I will take the meal and the meal. I see. How do I do that? Yeah, but how do I do that, game? this scrolls. Well, I feel silly. Okay. I don't need a key. I don't need a key. I don't need a note or a log. I don't need a key. I don't need a jeweled mace. I'll keep the crystal star because that's been useful so many times. The shield is good. The fire spear has been useful multiple times. What does that do? I'm not allowed to know. We definitely keep the summer sword. I'm supposed to keep the dagger. I'm allowed 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then I have space for 2 new ones. Now, if I had to get rid of more of these, what would I get rid of? Probably that. I mean, do I really need the book on me? Probably not. Yes. Before leaving Summerland on your quest for the Lawstone of Varetta, you equip yourself with a map of the Stornlands and a pouch of gold. Roll the number on the random number table, add 10. That's how many more new monies you have. Well, we got 18 new monies, so I'm not punished for depositing slightly extra. We may have 5 items. Does this count as a weapon? It does. Well, screw the dagger then. I would like a bow, a quiver, which is a special item. I will take a potion, a meal. The tinderbox is tempting. Yeah, I'll go with the tinderbox. Done. Blah, blah, blah. Same as all the others. No matter how bad you roll on combat or endurance, you should be able to win with smarts. The courtyard of the Kai Monastery is strangely silent the morning you begin your quest. A blanket of frost sparkles on the battlements, and the air is crisp and clean as you guide your horse down the steep hill track that disappears into the Freeland Forest. It is only a little later when you look back to see the tall grey towers of your stronghold silhouetted against the sky. You bid a silent farewell before entering the densely packed trees. You do not look back again. The long ride south is not without incident. On Raiders Road, the highway between the capital and the province of Ruanan, you are confronted by a ragged outlaw band. They demand gold, but are instead given a harsh lesson in the powers of a Kai master. You fight them and they flee in confusion, leaving 3 of them, their number, dead on the highway. After this encounter, you are given a wide berth by the other unsavory characters of this bleak and desolate region. In Ruanan, you are greeted with a hero's welcome by the Lord of the Land, Baron Vaneland. He and his people will never forget the debt they owe you, for it was your courage that once saved them from destruction at the hands of the evil renegade warlord. You are made welcome by the Ruanese, so welcome that your quest is in danger of being forgotten in the endless round of banquets and celebrations that are held in your honor. However, you cannot neglect your duty, and time comes for you to leave the mining town and venture further south. Long ago, the highway from Ruanan to Quadlet was torn in two by a terrible earthquake that scarred the land for hundreds of miles. This deep crevasse became known as the Macken Gorge, the Chasm of Doom, for its fathomless depths are cursed with a dreadful legacy. It was here, during the Age of the Black Moon, that King Ulnar killed the mightiest of the Dark Lords, Lord Vashna, whose body, along with the bodies of all his followers, were cast down into its bottomless reach. The legends say that his death cry echoes in the gorge until he will rise again to wreak his vengeance on Summerland and the House of Ulmar. That paragraph is cut and paste from book 4. You are eager to confront the chasm, to avoid, the chasm of doom, and the long detour to the free city-state of Cassiorn is a far better prospect than a visit to the ghost city of Marken. Gradually, the fertile plain of southern Ruanan gives way to the sparse vegetation on the border of the dry main. There, like a jewel rising from the desert, lies the city-state of Cassiorn. Your stay in the City of Merchants is brief but profitable. A piece of luck, helped by your Kai skills, gives a profitable win at a gambling house. With the gold you win, you replenish your supplies and purchase a fresh mount for you to ride to Quorlen. A week later, you arrive safely at the outskirts of Quorlen, and in the evening twilight find yourself gazing upon the fortified wall that surrounds this river town. To reach Veretta, you must cross the river, and only here at Quorlen is there a bridge that spans the fast-flowing waters of the Quorl. The highway divides as it approaches the town wall, for there are 2 gates providing access to its east side. If you have pathmanship, turn here. We, of course, chose pathmanship. Sensible people that we are. Your Magna Kai skills tell you the meaning of the carved symbol in the stone above the south gatehouse. It is a winged spur, the emblem of the army of Lyris. The gate must be the entrance to a guardhouse, for the highway that leads to the north gate shows sign of more frequent use, and there is deeply rutted surface, borne the brunt of much merchant traffic to and from Cassiorn. The tracks that mark the road here are only those of iron-shod horses. As the border guards of Lyris have a poor reputation for hospitality, it would be wise to avoid them. So we should go to the other gate, the north gate, and therefore we go to the north gate. The idiot counter says something else. I look forward to you streaming, Dodgy, and seeing how flawlessly you perform. A peasant wagon, and a merchant caravan, bearing the Toa Tree emblem of Cassiorn, awaiting in front of the town gate. You bring your horse to a halt and wait in line as the great door of rust-red iron slowly creaks open. The guard appears and gestures to the wagon and caravan to enter, but he lowers his spear menacingly as you prepare to follow. The town levy is 3 gold crowns. Pay or go away. Sure. What's money? As you enter a wide street where black iron lanterns swing above the doors of shops and houses, their oily black smoke staining the walls and adding a pall of gloom to the darkening sky, the street descends towards the River Quorl, where flatboats lie moored at the rich merchant wharves. Quorlen stands at the most northerly point of the river, on the river, that can be navigated by boat and barge, and it is here that the river meets the caravan routes to Cassiorn and the Lastlands, so ensuring the future of the town. At the approach to a wide stone bridge, you see an impressive-looking hostelry with stables and an outhouse. A painted shield hangs above the courtyard gate, proudly displaying its name, the Barrel Bridge Tavern. The moment you enter the courtyard, a stable boy appears from nowhere and bids you welcome. He takes charge of your horse and shows you the door to the tavern hall. It is crowded despite the early hour, and a roaring fire blazes in its great stone hearth. The smell of roasting beef makes your mouth water, reminding you are yet to have eaten today. I have pathmanship. Seated near the fireplace are 3 surly-faced drinkers, their tunics stained with the grime of travel. Each wears a red badge upon their breast, embroidered with the crossed swords of Veretta. You sense that they are soldiers of fortune, probably in the pay of a captain who comes from the same city. If you wish to join them and find more out about Veretta, turn to 125. If you do not wish to approach them and instead go to the bar to ask about a room for the night, turn to 232. If you'd rather take a seat and order some food, nah, talk is cheap. The soldiers are swigging ale and reminiscing about their campaigns with wild exaggeration. They're brash and loud, but an uneasy silence quickly falls as they see you approach. You notice that their hands are no longer grasping mugs of ale. They rest upon the hilts of their heavily bladed swords. Well, buy them some drinks. Money's cheap. The three men exchange wary glances before offering you a seat. A pock-marked warrior snaps his fingers and shouts across the crowded hall. "Wench! 4 flagons of ale!" Beer is drawn into 4 large earthenware vessels, each of which holds half a gallon of ale. Staggering beneath their weight, the serving girl arrives and places the flagons on the table. 8 gold crowns, sir," she says breathlessly, the perspiration standing out on her freckled brow. "I don't mind paying 8 crowns, money's cheap." "A toast to our gallant friend," cries the soldier. "Honor in battle," shouts the red-haired man to his left. "And a rich purse for the victor," retorts the other. They laugh heartily and raise their flagons to their lips. Their smiling faces are completely hidden by the jugs as they drink their fill. A full minute of silence passes before the jugs are slammed to the table emptied. The strong beer dissolves any guardedness. They become very talkative about themselves, and you take the opportunity to ask them what they know of the Lawstone of Veretta. "Legend," belches the redhead. "Myth or legend?" "Not so," interrupts the pock-faced one. "It's real enough, but was lost years ago. The Lawstone is magical. It holds a power that can turn an ordinary man into a king." On hearing this, the other soldiers snigger, but Popface ignores them and continues. "It was once set into the throne of Lyris, at the tower of the king of Veretta. Hundreds of years ago, during the War of the Lawstone, it was stolen by a Salanese prince called Karskor. He set the stone upon a golden scepter and used it in battle to inspire his followers. He believed that it made him invulnerable, though this was not so. He was killed in a battle on board his royal barge at Rem, and the Lawstone was lost when it fell from his hand into the depths of the River Storm. Though that is not the end of the story. There are tales about the scepter having been found, though on the whole they have turned out to be fake or fanciful. The legends say that whoever wields the Lawstone is the rightful ruler of the Stormlands. For this reason, above all others, the Lawstone is sought by many evil or unscrupulous men to further their dreams of power. If you wish to know more, you should go to Veretta. There are many learned men who have devoted their lives to the study of the Lawstone, the scholars and sages of Brass Street, and they are the people that will help you. You thank the soldier, and take your leave of his company. We should probably have a drink. Have something to eat. You choose a seat near the corner, one that is laid out for dinner and offers a clear view of the hall. The serving girl appears with a platter laden with roasted meat. She stacks a generous helping on your plate. 2 gold crowns, sir. Pressing an open hand, bloodied by the food. You pay, and settle down to your feast. While eating, you are approached by the innkeeper. He is a fat, oily individual, with small, piggish eyes. "My lad tells me he's tended to your mare. She's in good hands here. Best stables in all of Quorlen." He shifts nervously from one foot to the other, as if he is uncomfortable in your presence. "You'll be wanting a room, I take it?" You finish a mouthful of food before nodding. "You're in luck, my friend," he answers, relieved that you turned out to be a paying guest. "We have one room left, room 17. He produces a plain iron key from his apron and sets it down beside your plate. 3 crowns, sir, in advance. You pay him and slip the key into your pocket. Suddenly, there is a mighty crash. As the hall door is slammed shut, into the tavern strides a black-browed young lordling wearing a flamboyant costume of ebony and gold. He makes a ceremonious display of removing his velvet cloak and pompously demands food and wine. And it takes 3 serving girls and the innkeeper to see to his wishes. His manner is so insulting, you're not surprised to see the many scars that disfigure his face. He must be continually provoking fights and duels. The lordling chooses to seat himself at a table already occupied by a thin, inoffensive old man. Within seconds, there is a thunderous outburst of foul language. The lordling grabs the old man by the throat, lifts him one-handed from his seat, and hurls him to the floor. "You snivelling toad, how dare you sit with me?" The lordling kicks back his chair and towers over the wretch. Bewildered and frightened, the man fumbles an apology to no avail. The lordling kicks back his chair and towers over the man, his hand clasping the hilt of his sword. The tavern crowd view the scene with relish, like spectators at a Vassagonian arena, for the lordling clearly intends to kill him. "If you possess a bow..." All right. With the speed and grace of movement that marks you as a Kai master, you load, take aim, and fire. Your arrow pierces the lordling's arm as his sword descends, causing the blow to splinter stone and not a skull. He utters a shrill cry and spins backwards, cradling his wounded arm. "Curse you, scum! I am Roark, highborn of Amory. I shall have your life for this." Trembling with pain and fury, he staggers to his feet and demands his cloak from the innkeeper before stumbling into the night with a welter of threats and curses. "My humble thanks," says the frail old man as you help him to his feet. "I'm forever in your debt." Taking him by the arm, you escort him to the table where he gathers up his scattered belongings. My name is Cyrillus, and I am a magician," he says, meekly, as if apologizing for some weakness or abnormality. "I claim no great understanding of the arcane. My talents are modest by any standard. I only dabble in simple tricks, earning my keep with amusements and sleight of hand, to amuse the courtiers of Veretta." Your eyes obviously betray you. The old man is quick to note your sudden interest at the mention of the word Veretta. "Sure, I'll question you. I did just save his life." He narrows his mousy eyes and looks at you with a cautious stare. "It's but a legend. Some say it contained great powers. Others that its powers existed only in the minds of those who craved to own it. Whatever the truth is, it has been lost for hundreds of years." You sense that he is not telling you all he knows about the Lawstone. Tell him of the nature of our quest. His eyes open with surprise. You can see startles the whites around his mousy brown pupils. "Lone wolf," he whispers. "I should have known. Humble apologies, my lord. I thought that you sought the Lawstone for less than honorable reasons." He talks at great length about the legend of the Lawstone. You learnt that it remained in Valletta after Sung Eagle's quest, where it was set into the throne of Lyris at the Tower of the King. Hundreds of years ago, during the War of the Lawstone, it was stolen by a Salanese prince called Kaskor. He set the stone in a gold scepter and used it in battle to inspire his fanatical followers. He believed it made him invulnerable. This isn't so. He was killed on his barge at the Battle of Rem. The Lawstone was lost. There are many accounts of the scepter having been found, but they proved untrue or simply fanciful. Okay, so that's the same as before. He doesn't know where it is, but he does know a man in Veretta who claims to know its exact whereabouts. "Let me ride with you there. In return for the privilege, I shall take you to this man." Your basic Kai instincts tell you that his offer is genuine. You nod your agreement and arrange to meet him in the tavern courtyard at dawn. One moment. Cheers all. A shrill cockcrow heralds the break of day. By the time you're dressed and gathered your equipment, Cyrillus is waiting for you in the courtyard. "A glorious day," he says cheerily, pointing up at the cloudless sky with his slender oaken staff. "We'll have no difficulty reaching the halfway inn by nightfall." You bid farewell to the innkeeper and his son and urge your horses out into the narrow streets. By mid-morning, you are riding across gentle hills crested with yellow-leaved trees. The hilltops are shrouded with mist, but occasional rays of sunshine break through to lighten the lush green fields below. Time passes swiftly as Cyrillus recounts the histories and legends of the area. You learn that the rich and fertile kingdoms bordering the River Storn have a wild and turbulent past, swept by wars, divided by empires, split by national rivalries, and the ambitions of petty princes who prey upon one another and the rest of the populace. Lyrus is embroiled in a war with Magador, Deldon with Salony, and Salony with Sovia. Slovia, perhaps?
We must see.
Whoa. Ah, that's my fault. One sec. Yeah. There. That. Stay muted, yes. Mod mode, do. Then we're happy. Battles are fought, lives are lost, and the land is pillaged with grim regularity. Only the mercenaries and the crows seem to prosper from these continual conflicts. It is mid-afternoon when you catch sight of a small village. There are many wagons parked at the side of the highway, and a crowd has gathered. As you ride past, you notice a large placard nailed to one of the wagons. Archery tournament. Entrance fee 2 crowns. First prize, the silver bow of Duodon. Sure, let's try and win this bow. He offers to stay and look after your horses while you take part in the contest. He says that archery doesn't interest him, but he suspects that it's just an excuse. You suspect it's just an excuse for him to have a nap. You hand him the reins of your horse and hurry to join the line of men waiting to enter the tournament. The event reminds you of a summer-lending village pageant, and the jugglers, dancers, and numerous sideshows add to the festive spirit. You reach the gate, where a cheerful old lady is collecting the entrance fee. You hand over your crowns and enter a tent where the other competitors are stringing their bows. We do have one. A small, flat-faced man, dressed in a silver-braided jerkin, enters the tent and calls for everyone's attention. Quickly he explains the rules that govern the tournament, and then ushers you into a range. At the far end of the field are 3 targets, each with 10 coloured rings marked 0 to 9. Each archer is given 3 arrows. He must get a minimum score of 8 in order to qualify for the next round. Pick 3 numbers from the random number table. Add them together. If you have weapon mastery with bow, add 3. 1. Well, we definitely got 7. 8. 3. Correct. Success. Round 2. Your score qualifies you for a place in the final, where only one archer has scored more than 8 points. His name is Alton, a tall man with rugged features, a ranger from the mountains of the north. He wields a longbow of orange toa wood, and his skill with the weapon is formidable. It will be a difficult contest. Oh wow. The tournament final is played out using the normal rules for combat. The only difference is that you begin with 50 endurance or target points. Any endurance points that are lost may be deducted from the target points. You need not erase any arrows from your action chart for the tournament. Okay. So he's more skilled than me, and he has more health. Rip. And yet, our first roll goes very well for us. The second roll a bit more evenly. The third roll good for us. The fourth roll fantastic. The sixth roll good for us. The seventh roll good for us. The 8th roll good for us. Haha, you have won the archery tournament. Very good. The loud cheers shatters the silence. Oh, sorry, a loud cheer shatters the silence as your arrow strikes home. You have won. The villagers are thrilled to have witnessed such an exciting tournament, and the crowd offers you their praise and congratulations. The little man in the braided jerkin presents you with a prize, a magnificent bow made from the wood of a silver oak. The weapon will add 3 points to your total whenever using a bow, and you're instructed to pick a number from the random number table. Enter the silver bow of Duodon on your action chart as a special item, and make note of its special property. After making a short speech to thank the villagers for their generosity, you shoulder your prize and head back to Cyrillus with the good news. A shock awaits you on your return. Both he and the horses have vanished. At first you curse him, thinking that he has wandered off to a nearby ale tent for a drink. But when you discover his oaken staff lying beside the road, you sense something is terribly wrong. You climb on top of a parked wagon and strain your eyes in all directions for some clue. You see him, surrounded by a group of cavalrymen, galloping away to the west. You count 6 of them, plus a riderless horse your own. You notice that conveniently hitched to the back of a parked wagon is a saddled horse. Sure, we'll steal the horse. You have barely covered 100 yards when you hear a frantic cry. Horse thief! Horse thief! Don't let him get away! You tighten your grip and urge the horse along the highway as it dips and bends following a low hedgerow that borders the tournament field. The cry alerts some men from the archery competition, and they soon appear in a line at the edge of the field. As they see you approach, they draw their bows to fire. Oof. You have died. Well, we did very well the last 2 books. We didn't die. We've earned a restart. Rip. Ah, and now we have the starting thing. That's pretty much the same. You got the Book of the Magnikai. You pledge to restore the Kai to their former glory. Yep, blame the horse. Seek and find the Lawstone of Veretta, for this alone holds the power and the wisdom. Okay. We will pick the same skills. Same decision here. I want only the rope and food. Deposit lots of money. Oh yes, we have to use the new this, so I don't want basically any of these. The Crystal Star is useful, the shield is useful. The Fire Sphere has been useful, the helm is +2 skill. The waistcoat is more help. I meant to keep the dagger on me, the map is useful, the summer sword is absurd. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, sounds good. We got back all the money we deposited. We will go get rid of dagger. Hello, bow. Which actually means I should have stored the dagger in the monastery, but whatever. Meal. Quiver. Tinderbox. Potion? Sure. Okay. Same as before. We did have pathmanship. We knew to go to the north gate. We pay the levy. We do have pathmanship. We join them. We buy them drinks. I pay for their drinks. They tell us the story. We eat. We sleep. We shoot the lordling beating up the poor guy. We let him know who we are. The wizard tells us the story too. We come to the archery tournament. I do have a bow. Oof, we barely made that time. Okay, can we defeat the guy? Not with that roll we can't. That's much better. Excellent. Bad. Excellent. Excellent. Bad. Excellent, we should win that. Okay, we win. This. Try and Find the owners. I won the archery competition. It is Alton. Before you can explain what happened, he shakes your hand and congratulates you on your prowess with the bow. In spite of his defeat, he is eager to show that he has no grudge. You thank him and explain your predicament. I think we can make a deal, he says, glancing at your silver bow. Never! You will not have my special bow. 2 special items or 20 crowns? Yeah, I've got crowns. Have some of my crowns. You keep your side of the bargain. In exchange, he hands over the reins of his horse. Good horse, good luck, Northlander. I hope you find your companion. He is a lucky man to have a friend such as you. You shout a farewell as you spur your new horse to the gallop. We do have parkmanship. No! Well, hopefully we come back. The chase takes you deep into the heart of the Veretian hills. Soon, the highway dips and twists, plunging into the valleys and hollows carved by fast-flowing streams, and climbing through the dense woodland that clings precariously to every precipice and crag. You often lose sight of the riders. Your basic Kai skills of tracking and hunting enable you to follow their trail with ease. It is not until you reach a tiny village perched on the edge of a tree-lined crag that their trail becomes indistinct. You notice that at the far side of the village, a stony hill track branches from the main highway and ascends to the trees. We do have parkmanship. Using your discipline, you examine both the hill path and the highway path for tracks. You discover that neither route has been used by horsemen. It can only be one thing. They're in the village. So we go back to the village. Oh my god. Really? Holy. A hail of arrows engulfs you. Flame explodes through your chest, neck, and shoulders. You are mortally wounded, and although you fight with grim determination to hang on to life, you struggle and cannot win. Weak from shot and loss of blood, you fall from your saddle and die on the highway. Really? Like, the other one I can live with, because I did steal a horse, but I did nothing wrong here. Boo. Boo, I say. Well, again. Oof. Same. Steal the meals. Store the money. We know to store the dagger this time. No, no. Actually, I should keep the 2 jailer's keys so that I can sell them to the guy for my horse. So I'm never going to need the jailer's keys, now that we know that we want it. Okay, there we go. You might be forced to discard some on your adventure. Are you sure you don't want to leave it at the monastery? Yes. We go with bow, quiver, potion, tinderbox, meal, done. So this is the same as last attempt. We have pathmanship, Northgate, pay the levy, pathmanship, bribe the guard, well, the mercenaries, buy them a drink, pay for their ale, eat, protect the poor peasant, ask him about the Lawstone, tell him who we are, Head to the archery competition. We win this 3 times in a row. Yes, we can at least get into round 2 and the final fight. Nah, we've got that. Ay, ay, ay. Actually, that's disastrously close. 1 to 6. Oh, 2 hit points left. Okay, we win the bow. We try and find the owner of the horse. I won the archery competition. I do not wish to give you the bow. I do agree to your proposal. You may have the 2 jailer's keys that are totally useless to me now. You keep your side of the bargain. He gives us the horse. We have pathmanship. Now, this got us killed last time, so instead we hide in the trees and wait for the riders to show themselves. You do not have to wait very long for the riders to appear. As soon as they think you have gone, they emerge single file from the back of a derelict cottage and draw themselves into a circle in the middle of the village. Although they are out of earshot, you can tell by the frantic movements and gestures they're having a heated argument. They break the circle and ride towards you. Cyrillus, still lying unconscious across his horse, is in tow behind the last rider. Why can't I do this? Why can't I turn to 20? I have a bow. It thinks I don't have the quiver. Oh, well, that's bloody useless. Okay, well, we'll attack them. With bated breath, you wait for the... How did we... Whatever. With bated breath, you wait for the enemy to pass. As the last man rides into view, you break cover and attack him with deadly efficiency. He tries to raise a shield to block your blow, but cannot react in time to save his life. As he tumbles to the ground, you cut the reins from his saddle and take off... Reins don't connect to the saddle, they're a bridle. Anyway, and take off along the highway with the unconscious wizard in tow. Your immediate peril stops you dwelling too much on the reasons why these riders would abduct him. However, it does occur to you that he is neither wealthy nor powerful, so a poor prospect for a rich ransom. On a charger, as black as midnight, sits a scar-faced young man. Oh, it's this guy again. As you reach the bottom of the wooded crag, a stone church and a graveyard looms into view. At a point where the highway turns sharply to the west, blocking the road on a charger as black as midnight, sits a scar-faced young man. His eyes, set in white as his disfigured face, burns with a cold, dark glow. You recognize him immediately. It is Roark. I do not have a silver brooch. Suddenly the riders appear and spread out to surround you. We have a debt to settle, Northander, hisses Roark. I demand payment in full. Madness flashes in his glaring eyes as he removes an amulet from his neck and holds it high in the air. Come, Tagazin. I summon thee from the pit of eternal pain. I summon thee. The skin on your arms and neck prickles with dread at the sound of Roark's terrible invocation. You cast your eyes around for an escape route. Only the churchyard offers a way past him and his men, but as you spur your horse through the stone gateway, you are frozen with terror by what you see before you. Above the church, a whirlpool of darkness forms, casting a tomb-like chill on everything beneath. Frost crystallizes the grass and flowers, and a terrible sound fills the air. As the earth begins to shake, cracks appear in the ground beneath you, and suddenly a score of fleshless hands burst through the frozen soil to grab at your horse. Shrieking with terror, it rears up and throws you into the waiting arms of the walking dead. Undead summonation. We use the summer sword and the shield. Check. No, 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 no. Definitely the shield. Well, actually, can I use the warhammer? No. Or it doesn't remember, or the old weapon skill doesn't do anything is, I guess, the thing. Next round. We one-hit KO it. Keep in mind that the summer sword does double damage to undead, so not an amazingly difficult fight. As you destroy the last of the fleshless skeletons, you see the struggle has spread beyond the walls of the churchyard. From the depths of the open crypt, a shambling mass of zombies are hurling themselves at the riders, tearing the terrified warriors from their saddles. Roak's summonation has gone terribly out of control. No living creature is safe from the terror he has unleashed. The lordling turns and gallops away in a blind panic, leaving his followers to their grisly deaths. As he disappears, the swirling funnel of darkness fades, and the undead stagger and fall, crumbling to the dust, which is carried away on the evening breeze. You rush to the aid of the old magician, who lies, mortally wounded, pinned beneath the body of his dead horse. As you cradle his head in your hands, his eyes flicker open, and he forces a brief whisper from his blood-flecked lips. Brass Street. If you have the discipline of curing, which we do, because healing is the most OP skill, you concentrate all your powers on the curing, transmitting the warmth created by your skills through your hands into his shattered body. His frail shoulders tremble as he forces himself to whisper once more. Brass Street, Veretta, find Gwinian, the sage. He will help your quest. A trickle of blood seeps from the corner of the old man's mouth as his eyes flicker closed. He is dead. You bury him in the graveyard of the church where he fell and pray a silent prayer to the spirits of the Kai to watch over him on his final journey. A sadness fills your heart, and you take one last look at the oaken staff that marks his grave before setting off on the highway to Veretta. It is nearly dark when you catch sight of a tavern on the road. 2 guttering torches are set into rusty brackets, which illuminate the sign nailed above the door, the Halfway Inn. You recognize the name of the tavern that Cyrillus spoke of this morning, though it grieves you he will not be here to accompany you. Distant thunder rumbles through the hills as you stable your horse and enter the welcoming warmth of the taproom. The tavern is alive with the chatter of merchants, the clink of glasses, and the crackle of a blazing fire. The center of the room is dominated by a large stage on which a conjurer is performing his tricks to the delight of customers. Sure, let's watch. Having removed a bunch of flowers from the ear of the startled merchant, a clucking hen from the petticoat of the merchant's wife, the flamboyantly dressed conjurer calls for silence from the cheering audience before announcing his next trick. 2 children shuffle onto the stage, their bodies and faces hidden by long black gowns that are tied at the foreheads. Only their hair, blonde and black, is visible. I am a boy, says the one with black hair. I am a girl, says the one with blonde hair, the voice identical to the first. The conjurer steps forward and says that they are a boy and a girl, but at least one of them is lying. He asks which is which, and invites an audience member to bet on the answer. If you do not wish to gamble, yeah, we'll bet. First, decide how many crowns you wish to wager. I will bet 1 crown. I think both lie. You are correct. The boy has blonde hair and the girl has black hair. Your logical thinking revealed they could not both have been speaking the truth, for the conjurer said at least one of them was lying. If only one of them was lying, the other could not have been speaking the truth. The only conclusion is to be drawn that both lied. The conjurer pays you a number of gold crowns equal to what you wager. Add this to your total before going to the bar. Looks like you made it here just in time, says the cheerful innkeeper, pointing to the rain-streaked window pane. Gonna be a rough night tonight, no mistaking it. You discover that a room for the night costs 2 gold crowns, plus 1 for your horse's keep. A meal of black bread and hard-boiled eggs will cost you another gold crown unless you eat a meal from your backpack. You must eat a meal now or lose 3 points. You can hunt. If you wish to pay the innkeep for the night's lodgings, sure. Although we're getting desperately low on money. Well, desperately. We've still got 19 gold. You collect your key and climb the stairs to your room at the top of the tavern. You sleep deeply, and at dawn you rise from your narrow bed to shiver in the fresh breeze whistling through a cracked window pane. As the harsh light of morning floods the tiny garret, you see to your dismay that your backpack lies half open on the floor. A gaping hole has been gnawed from the flap. The unmistakable handiwork of rats. Meals that you had have been eaten or ruined, and erase them from your chart before leaving the tavern. The air is sweet with the smell of wet grass. The sun rises above the trees to the east, and mist streams from the hills on either side of the highway. By noon you reach a small village, where brightly decorated cottages line a cobblestoned square. A shrine with an enormous onion-shaped dome stands in the middle of the square, and in its shadow sits a group of old women. They are tending to some shrubberies with bright orange berries, which grow in the shade. If you possess curing, go here. You recognize these berries as those of the alpha plant. They are sought after by warriors and soldiers, for they increase both strength and skill during combat. Sure. We'll buy some performance-enhancing drugs. 3 crowns. I'll give you temporary 2 skill. You can have up to 3, but you can't use more than 1 at once. So we buy the performance enhancing drugs. It is late afternoon when you catch your first breathtaking glimpse of Veretta. Built on a massive plateau, the city has stood since time immemorial. The walls and buildings are immense, constructed from blood-red rock and crowded together in complicated splendor. Great stone dragons writhe along the battlements, their colored, coiled tails entangling the gatehouse and portals of the outer wall, and spirals of smoke rise from the mouths of angry-faced gargoyles, crouching like spies on the top of the roofs and towers that fill the sky. I feel like I remember the dopey dragon. The sun has set by the time you reach the east gate. The red-coated guards offer no challenge, and you pass into the wide street of this magnificent city, to arrive eventually at a quadrangle. A pillar of red stone indicates the names of the streets that lead away from the square. If you wish to head north into Heinlein Way, turn here. If you wish to go west, to the coach course. If you wish to go south, to Flute Street. If you decide to go east along the street down which you have just ridden, okay. About 100 yards from the east gate through which you entered the city, you notice a brass plaque, fixed with polished brass spikes to the top of an arched doorway. The sign reads, "The Guild of the City Criers." Sure, let's go in. Beyond the doorway, a flight of narrow stone steps leads to a small room. Books line 2 of the walls from floor to ceiling. Another wall is filled with racks of scrolls, handbells, and parchments bound round with ribbons of green silk. The remaining wall has a door. and a tiny creature with unblinking crimson eyes bids you welcome. You recognized the stunned features of a Clune. "Good evening, sir," it says in a strong voice that belies its small, squat body. "Welcome to our guild house. How may we be of service?" "I would like to know about Brass Street." "We are the Guild of City Criers, only too pleased to be of service," he says, waddling over to the bookshelf. He scampers over to the top and removes a slim map from which he deposits at your feet. "5 crowns, sir." "Sure, whatever, I'll have your stupidly expensive map." In the dim glow of the street, you unfold the map of Veretta and study the complicated network of roads and alleys. Mark this as a special item on your chart. Brass Street is located on the far side of the city, close to the west wall. Suddenly, a bell tolls, its dull clang echoing among the rooftops and towers. It is the curfew. Everyone must be off the streets within an hour. You'll never reach the far side of the city in that time. You resolve to find a tavern for the night and to resume your quest on the morrow. You ride between ranks of carved stone idols whose mouths hold flickering torches which illuminate the broad avenue. Mercenaries of all races and nationalities pack the street, talking, boasting, dozing in the shadows. At the end of the street, you arrive at a junction where a woman in filthy clothes is nursing a crying child. As you pass, she holds out a grimy hand and begs for gold crowns to feed her hungry baby. You're about to place a gold crown in the woman's hand when a man appears as if from nowhere. He slaps her grubby palm with a studded gauntlet and bellows, "Begone, you thieving hag!" The woman's eyes flash angrily as she nurses her bruised hand. "Can you explain yourself, good sir?" The man grasps the woman by the wrist and uncovers the arm cradled around her baby. Clasped between her fingers is a hat pin, with which she is pricking the baby's skin to make it cry. "You'll be begging in the streets yourself before dawn, if you be taken in by the likes of her," he says. The woman pulls free from his grasp, curses and disappears among the scruffy crowd of mercenaries wandering the street. "Who do you serve?" asks the man. "Or did you come in search of a captain?" Ignore him and ride off. You arrive at a tavern, but one that looks more like a huge banqueting hall than a city alehouse. The Inn of the Crossed Swords is the largest and noisiest tavern you've ever seen. A constant flow of soldiers pour in and out of its cathedral-like doors, and the adjoining stable is large enough to house the horses of an entire army. You enter the tavern in time to witness a spectacular event. You stable your horse and enter the tavern just in time to witness a spectacular event. The middle of the hall has been cleared to allow a horse and rider to gallop the full length of the building, and bets are being laid on the rider's skill at skewering fruit on the point of his lance. It reminds you of part of the training taught to Kai Lords in preparation for battle. But unlike the Kai horse trials, there is more than just skill and honor of the rider at stake here. In a line along the length of the hall kneel 10 soldiers from the same regiment. As the rider, men accused of cowardice in battle. The fruits the rider must skewer are resting on their heads. If he makes the slightest mistake, the men will lose their lives and, more importantly, to them as mercenaries, all the money the regiment has wagered on the skill of the rider. Talk to the barmaids. I feel like we've done enough gambling. Patiently you wait for one of the overworked tavern girls to notice you. But before you can raise your hand and attract her attention, you are suddenly aware of the sharp point of a dagger pressed against your spine. "Your purse or your life," whispers the swarthy-faced mercenary who has appeared at your side. "Make up your mind quickly, my friend, or my friend may be a little careless with his knife." No, let's fight them. I want my backstabbers. You pull away and unsheath your weapon in a swift, fluid movement. The dagger grazes your side, but you manage to avoid being seriously wounded. Both men sneer maliciously as they close in for the kill. You must fight both as one enemy. Smite the enemies. Stupid enemies. They didn't even damage me. Your speedy dispatch of the robbers has earned you 5 gold crowns, which you find in the pockets of the dead men, and the respectful glances of several mercenary captains. One in particular is so impressed by your fighting prowess, he approaches you and offers to buy you a drink. You sense that it is an honest gesture of friendship, without any hidden threat, and gratefully accept his offer. Yoink the crowns. The captain is an imposing man, tall, muscular, with a strong-jawed face, unmarked by battle or disease. His blonde hair is cropped close to his head, and likewise his beard and moustache are trimmed close to his tanned skin. You are invited to join his company, and as you drink your ale, you listen to proud talk of war, of victories, of loot, of wages, but never of defeat. The captain and his men have grown tired of war in the north. Prince Yanweel of Helen is close to ruin, having sold all he owns to pay for a war against Baron Maghow of Karkast that he simply cannot hope to win. The prince's troops are demoralized, his mercenaries deserted him on the first opportunity. You learn that the captain is recruiting men for a campaign in the south. The war between Salony and Slovia has reached boiling point, and there is much gold to be had in the service of these princes. You have the mien of a skillful warrior, says the captain, his steel blue eyes cold and unblinking. Why not join our company? I have need of fighters, and I can pay well with gold, not promises. We leave for Tarraco at dawn. Will you ride with us? You politely refuse the captain's offer, saying that you have come here on other business. What business is there for a warrior other than war? Retorts the captain, to the raucous delight of his men. You finish your ale and bid the captain and his company good night. If you change your mind, join us at Soren. We sail the river from there in 2 days' time. We do have the map, having bought it from the strange creature. Yeah, it's good decoy. I think the writing's a bit better today than on the week one, like the first three books that we did. I'll buy the expensive book, the expensive room with a bath. The room is a disappointment. For 5 crowns you're expecting some kind of luxury, but the small and shabby accommodation you find leaves much to be desired. There have been 2 insta-death things. Steam rising from an open-topped barrel in the corner of the room clouds the air. At first you think it must be some form of heating, until you discover it is full of soapy water, and you realize that it is in fact your bath. The meager luxuries of Veretta do not come cheaply. You bathe before setting down to a good night's rest, but in the middle of the night you are woken by a bright light. A shooting star of sun-like brilliance arcs over the city, shedding a rainbow of colours across your drab room. You watch as the star slowly fades, and then settles... And then you settle down... And then you settle down to sleep once more. It seems as if you had only just closed your eyes when the loud and loathsome clang of the tavern bell fills your ears. All awake, a new day dawns, my fine brave lads. As the voices of the tavern keeper echoes throughout the inn, you gather your equipment, collect your horse from the stable. The night's rest has restored 3 endurance points. Make the adjustments to your action chart before setting off in your search for Brass Street. As you ride west along the wide avenue of weathered red stone, you take in the early morning sights of this magnificent city. Window shutters slam open as the Veretians awake to a new day, and the smell of breakfast and freshly ground jala waft from shops and doorways. At the center of the city, you cross a square paved with crystal slabs and pass beneath an archway of polished green stone. Stately halls and public buildings give way to dust-worn shops and a park full of glistening flowers, with huge leaves of red, gold, and pink. Beyond the park, a street paved with white gravel leads to a fortified tower, the tallest in the city. It is the Tower of the King, and it marks the entrance to Brass Street. Turning into Brass Street, the sound of bubbling water and quiet chanting drift towards you. Old men in brown robes, their heads covered by hoods, glide gently across the white gravel path. You ride under the archway and enter the enclosed courtyard of a grand building, a hall of learning. Suddenly, a tingle runs the length of your spine as you sense you are close to the goal. At the door to the hall there is a sign that indicates the location of 3 chambers: the observatory, library, and temple. Let's check out the observatory. Sorry, the library. At the end of the cool grey marble corridor you find the library. 2 brown-robed men you saw earlier when you entered the courtyard have vanished. The hall is deserted and it's quiet as a grave. The library too is empty, save for the thousands of books that line the stone shelves. On the far side of the room there is another door, the only other kind of exit. Sure, we'll look at some books. The books are catalogued under headings and cover all manner of subjects. You search for those relating to the lore stone of Vereta, or any that detail the history of the Kai or Sun Eagle's quest. You discover, to your surprise, that they have all been removed. Judging by the lack of dust on the empty shelves, they were taken less than a day ago. After double-checking that you have not overlooked anything, you decide that there is little to help you here on your quest and leave the library. You'll go to the observatory. The door clicks shut behind you. It takes a few seconds for your eyes to grow accustomed to the dimly lit interior. But the room appears to be the antechamber of a larger hall. Following the faint sound of voices, you pass through the archway, along a corridor, and into the main hall. Gathered about a circular table of gleaming steel, a group of elderly gentlemen are poring over books, star charts, astral maps, engrossed in discussion. Globes of blue-white fire hang motionless in the air above them to illuminate their work. They do not see you until you are close enough to their table. Their reaction to your appearance is astonishing. They look as though they have seen a ghost. There are yelps of shock, and startled expression. Sweat forms on their brows. The sight is too much for one old man, who swoons and faints, falling limply across his books and maps. Only one man remains calm and collected. The elderly men are poring over their books and star charts. If you've ever visited a hut on Raiders Road in a previous Lone Wolf, which we must have because otherwise it wouldn't be highlighted, you recognize the old man before you. Calm and smiling, it is the same old man you encountered in the hut on the road to Ruinen years ago, who handed you the scroll that foretold the dangers of the Chasm of Doom. Welcome, Lone Wolf, he says. Once again, the stars have dictated that our paths would cross. I thought that in the run where we succeeded at the Chasm of Doom, we didn't visit the man. Right, didn't we die from an insta-death thing? And then we restarted and we went a different path because I wanted to see what the other path had. So it looks like maybe that might be a bit of a bug. I don't think I should have been able to pick this option. Anyway. Calm yourself, my brothers. It is he, the Kai Lord. Slowly, as the startled old men regain their composure, their shocked expressions change to one of awe and reverence. I am Gwinian, says the leader. I have been expecting your arrival. He points to the charts that cover the table and the massive telescope that is fixed to a platform in the domed ceiling. The stars divine the shape of things to come. They are our advisors. We know of your quest for the Lawstone. We know that it is the true quest, and we pledge our help. But there are many of our brothers who fear its power. They choose to ignore the wisdom of the stars, and they have pledged themselves to a foolish and dangerous vow to keep hidden the location of the Lawstone and to kill all those who seek it, for fear that they would use it for their own ends. His words are cut short by a beating fist against the observatory door. Your horse has been discovered. Give him to us! Shout a chorus of angry voices. We must leave, says Gwinian. He ushers you into a smaller room. A hidden catch is pulled and a secret panel opens to reveal a passage. As you follow the sage and his companions into the darkness, you hear the door of the observatory splinter and break. The passage leads to a vaulted cellar, as cold and as silent as a tomb. Gwinian talks with his brothers, who hurry off towards a distant portal. As they appear into the dark, he returns to your side, his face somber but composed. The Lawstone of Areta is hidden in the crypt of the Cathedral of Tekaro. Okay, let's write that down. Crypt of the Cathedral of Tekaro. This key will unlock the tomb in which it lies. He produces a small silver key from his sleeve and gives it to you. My brothers will provide a swift horse for your journey. When the observatory clock strikes midnight, enter the portal and follow the passage to the end. It passes beneath the city wall. Your horse will be waiting where the passage comes to the surface. You're welcome to take any items you require from the cellar that might be of use to you. Gods protect you, Lone Wolf. Together with the small key, you collect your items and settle down for a wait until midnight. Meal. Actually, the whistle sounds useful. Stuff the berries. We'll take the whistle. Oh, the whistle is a special item, not a normal item. Then I can have my performance-enhancing drugs back. When the clock strikes 12, you're poised and ready to enter the portal. You follow a dry stone passageway until you arrive at an iron door. It opens with a grating squeal and the gust of damp, earthy air, mixed with a strange sweetness, billows out. Before you, a narrow stone stairway twists into the darkness. You're forced to tread carefully on the green and slippery steps. At the bottom of the stairs, a rough-hewn tunnel disappears to the west. You press on and eventually come to another iron door. Gwinian has kept his word, for beyond the door waits a fine liver chestnut mare, saddled and ready to rise. You are in a small copse close to the highway junction. In the light of the moon, you can see a signpost that indicates two destinations, Amory and Soren. Consult the map before deciding which way to go. So we came from off-screen. We're now here. We want to get to Tekaro. So Amory is closer towards where we want to go. Right, Tekaro is down here. Amory is further south than Soren, which is further west. So, Amory. You ride all night without sleep, only the moon to light your way, and the howling wind is your companion. As the first light of dawn creeps over the horizon, you see a small village less than a mile ahead. A dog barks gruffly at you as you ride into the refuse-strewn streets. You are forced to drive it away with the toe of your boot, as it snaps persistently at your horse's legs. On the far side of the village, where the highway enters a line of scattered hills, a fortified manor house stands guard. A large sign, faded by wind and rain, proclaims a curious message. Amory Kess, 3 gold crowns. How much money do I have left? No money. Ignore the sign. By noon, the hills are far behind, and you catch your first sight of the snow-capped Sneers. To the south, nestling at the foot of this mountain range, is Amory. You are tired after your ride, but you know you must press on if you were to reach the town by nightfall. You reach a junction where a stone signpost indicates 2 directions, northwest to Soren and south to Amory. Both towns lie 25 miles from this point. You are hungry and must eat or lose health. Hunt. The soldier removes a spluttering torch from a bracket on the wall and returns to your side. Holding the torch high, he casts his eye over you and your horse and rubs his chin. You come from Veretta or Soren. Long ride either way and you must be tired. You can go, but in the future be sure to get a cess? Some... Oh, my brother guards ain't so understanding. I don't get what he's going at. Get a access? You thank the guard and ride in through the town gate. Oh my gosh. Suddenly all hell breaks loose. Alarm bells ring, gruff voices bellow and scream, and the crunching of boots on stones echoes around the town. A troop of soldiers surrounds you. Their faces twisted and unnatural in the glare of their flaming torches. Your senses had been dulled by fatigue, and you are dragged from your saddle and disarmed before you have a chance to react. Cold iron chains are wound tightly around your arms and body, and you are pushed into a grey stone jail. A wave of terror engulfs you as you catch a fleeting glimpse of a poster painted to the jail door. You see your own face before you. Beneath it is written, "Death sentence by the order of Lord Roic, Highborn of Amory." So this is our punishment for saving the wizard man from the guy in the inn at the start. Within an hour, your head is resting upon the executioner's block. As the razor-sharp blade of the 2-handed axe whistles towards your neck, the last sound you hear is the malicious and vengeful laugh of the young lordling. Your life and your quest end here. We not only arrowed him, but we, got rid of his stupid zombie army as well. Grrr. Oh well, this book is kicking our ass. 3 deaths. And to think that I'd been at 5 of 6 before this. I still like the same skills. We know now to get rid of the comb, prism, and bottle. To take the meals. To get rid of our dagger. To take the jailer's keys, yes, because we're going to trade those for a horse. Keep the shield. Keep the crystal star, because that's been useful before. Keep the fire sphere. Keep the extra health item. Keep the dagger. Keep the map. And keep the whistle and summer sword. Seems good. Deposit 15 crowns. We get all our Oh, I didn't hit deposit. Well, sucks to be me. I've wasted some money. We would like the bow, check. The quiver, check. Tinderbox. I've got 2 meals already. And our meals get eaten at the inn anyway. So actually I should have left those meals and taken these meals. Now that I think about it. Healing potion. And what does this do? Well, maybe it's even more health. Okay, same deal. We do have pathmanship. We go to the north gate. We pay the levy. We do have pathmanship. We bribe the mercenaries. Yes, just wear all the layers of armor. Even more hit points. Pay for the ale. They tell us the story. We buy our food. We sleep the night. We will kill this guy, thank you. We know not to go to Amory. Is that my mistake? No, map. Yes. So I should have gone Soren and then this other way around. So that's on me for not paying enough attention to who the stupid lordling was. Ask the wizard about the thing, reveal that we are lone wolf. He tells us to go find the person. We do the archery contest. We do have a bow. We make it to round 2. We win the contest. We bribe him for his horse. But not with our bow. Instead, with our 2 completely pointless jail keys. Pathmanship. Do not go back into village. That's an insta-death. Wait for them. This time we can use our bow because I didn't forget to get the quiver. No difference aside from that it looks like it cost us an arrow. Okay, we're forced to kill the silly guy again. Or at least his undead summoning. The enemy scratched us. We slightly extend the old man's life, long enough for him to say, "Find Gwinion the sage, he will help you on Bra Street." We watch the conjurer. I will bet on this conundrum. There's no point in betting anything. Well, actually, how much money do we have? 32. So I need 18 more crowns. And we now know the answer is that both children lie. We get given 18 more, so we go back up to max money. Eat food, use hunting, pay for lodging. We find out about the berries, but they just took up space in our inventory. I don't like them. They didn't end up well for us. Go the way we came, because none of them was the appropriate place. We will go to the criers. We will buy their map. We will ignore the woman this time, because she was trying to swindle us. I will sit at one of the tables this time. It makes no difference. So instead we are forced to fight them again. Insta-kill. We insta-killed them, but then triggered 2 more things because I could click before the game realized we had won. 5 more crowns. We have a map. What if we stay in the second class room? If you stay in the slightly shittier room, your food doesn't get eaten by rats. Well, that's disappointing. Library. Examine the books. Observatory. We find the guy that we knew from before, even if we think that it's bugged. Investigate. I will happily take meal, whistle. And we can have rope and long rope. Why not? We do not go to Amory. We go to Soren. The night passes without sleep. The howling wind of the Varetian plain is your only companion as you ride the long, straight, moonlit highway to Soren. When dawn finally breaks, you find yourselves on the outskirts of a small and undistinguished hamlet of half-timbered buildings whose only unusual feature is a bronze statue of a roguish-looking young man that stands in front of a blacksmith shop. Sure, we'll look at the statue. The weather-worn plaque bolted to the base of the statue says that this is the true likeness of Vinar Jew, who led a band of robbers that preyed on travellers, especially merchants. His many crimes, including murder, did not prevent him from becoming popular, for he was resourceful and daring, and never plundered the inhabitants of the hamlet, where he himself was born. His exploits and those of a score of his gang were ended by the executioner's axe after trial at Amory. There is a slit in the belly of the statue through which gold crowns can be dropped. The plaque goes on to say that anyone who pays homage to the statue will be protected by his spirit from robbers and highwaymen. If you wish to make a donation, remember how many you... let's do 5. 5 sounds like an adequate amount. Well, apparently it said 4. Good enough. Shortly before noon, you pass through a deserted village. The burnt-out ruins of cottages and farmsteads dot the landscape like charred skeletons, the unmistakable signs of war. A mile or 2 farther along the highway, you come across a church. A man, his clothes ragged and covered in mud, is moving amongst the gravestones, staggering like a wounded carrion crow. As you reach the church gate, he sees you and cries out for help. If you have this discipline of curing, which we do, you notice that the clothes and hair are streaked with blood. Your initial instinct is to use your skills to cure his wounds, but as you reach the church gate, you realize he isn't wounded. The red stains are berry juice and his injuries are fake. Then we will flee. It sounds like the Lord of Amory was trying to take advantage of my kind nature again to trap me. You are tired after your long night's ride, but you know you must press on if you are to reach Soren by nightfall. You come to a shallow stream which crosses the highway, and here you stop briefly at a ford to wash and rest. You must now eat a meal, or lose endurance points. We have hunting. Night has fallen by the time you reach the river, town of Soren, and the sky is clear and full of stars that sparkle with icy splendor. You ride the main street towards the quay where the score of river ships lie docked at the town, their signal lamps shimmering red and green from the mast tops, reflect upon the dark, cold waters of the River Storn. A board standing beside a gangplank to a large transport caravel catches your eye. On it are chalked prices to 3 destinations. The 4th destination has been crossed out, and scribbled beside it is cancelled due to war. So how close can we get to Takaro? EULA, the end user license agreement, looks like it is the closest town to Tarako. So we'll get a ship from here all the way down to here, and then it's 1 city away. Right next to the city of Chod. I wish to buy a ticket to EULA. The hold of the riverboat is full of horses, not slow cart horses favoured by merchants, but strong and sturdy mounts that carry many scars from battle upon their muscular flanks. You unsaddle your mare and load her manger with feed, and then make your way back on deck. As you emerge from the hold, a voice calls out to you, and you raise your weary eyes. It is the captain, the mercenary leader you ran across in the inn. "Well met, my friend," he cries, and slaps you enthusiastically on your shoulder. "So you've changed your mind and come to join my band of fearless fighters." Before you have a chance to answer, the captain and his men, who are all considerably the worse for their drink, stumble past on a quest of utmost importance, the search for the local wine store. You are far too tired and weary to follow. The thought of your cabin bed and a good night's sleep is all that interests you. With your horse stabled safely in the hold of the Kazanara, all that remains for you to do is find your cabin. This proves to be a tiny room at the bow, but it is at least a comfortable bunk, and you fall asleep as soon as your head touches the feathered pillow. You wake an hour after dawn and peer out of the circular porthole at the shadowy riverbank. Drizzle obscures the detail, and the sky is tinged with grey. As day approaches, the river mist grows thicker and whiter, and you go up on deck. The captain stands alone at the rail, shoulders of the leather cloak soaked by the cold drizzle. He nods a welcome and points to the Senior Mountains, hidden in the mist. "The foul weather robs us of landmarks, but by my reckoning we should be in Luin by noon." You stare through the grey, damp air and pull your cloak around your shoulders. If you have completed the law circle of Solaris, that is, if you possess the disciplines of invisibility, hunt mastery, and pathmanship, turn to 131. Yeah, so this is something that this like middle series of, so we started as a basic person and now we're like the middle grade of person. The middle grade of person has these combination bonusy things, where if you mix certain of the skills together, you get a certain bonusy thing. If you have not completed this law circle, turn to 44. Suddenly there is a tremendous jolt and you are thrown headfirst against the rail. The screech of twisting metal and splintering wood tears through the silence as the Kazanara shudders and dips violently. The boat has hit a boom, a line of logs chained together across the river. "Hell's teeth, have we run aground?" As the words leave his lips, a grapnel and rope drop from the sky and bite into the ship's rail. More follow, and through the mist you can make out the shape of longboats approaching. "River pirates!" shouts the helmsman. "Prepare to repel boarders. River pirates." Further along the deck, one of the captain's men is felled by a thrown knife. His comrades rush to his aid, but by now the river pirates are pouring over the side and he is trampled underfoot. "Battle orders!" bellows the captain immediately, his men responding, linking shields, holding their ground. A swarm of grim-faced pirates are boarding. One of their number, a lean man with only one ear and a split nose, smiles at you as if in anticipation, his lips drawn back from his teeth and his eyes wide with excitement. He is obviously relishing the thought of ending your life. "Shoot him!" The riverboat is rocking violently from the collision, throwing you off balance. You raise an arrow and take aim at the man's chest. Roll the random number table. If you have weapon mastery with a bow, add 3. If you have hunt mastery, add 1. If you suck a lot, turn here. If you get 6 or higher, turn here. 7, because we've got the silver bow. The silver bow props up our skill by as much as bow mastery. He screams and falls, with the arrow embedded so deeply into his chest that only its feathered flights can be seen. His comrades freeze in their tracks, their eyes wide with fear. You move forwards, they scatter and run. Leaping over the dead bodies, you'll fight your way across the deck to where the captain is in combat with 5 pirates. While he attacks with a long sword in his right, he parries enemy cutlasses with a bronze sleeve shield, which encases his left forearm. He fights with cool determination, making light work of the battle-clumsy pirates. When a war horn heralds the arrival of a new and formidable wave of attackers, you anticipate the captain's danger and rush to protect him. You rush to protect the pirate from the captain from the snarling pirate berserkers. And here he is using his arm guard to absorb a sword blow. Pirate berserkers, let's go. We kill them in 2 hits and suffer no damage for ourselves because we're just that good. Or more accurately, because we have stacked so many items from the previous books. The tide of battle has turned in your favor. The pirates came in search of easy plunder, but your furious resistance has broken their reserve. They flee from the deck, scrambling onto the longboats to escape. The captain follows them, hewing at them with his sword. He cuts his way to the ship's rail and grabs the pirate leader by the neck. He rams the man's head against the mainmast, once, twice, thrice, with a rage that splits the timber and the pirate's leather-clad skull. Ha! I always said the Deldenians have no head for a fight. The battle ends as swiftly as it began, with the surviving pirates melting away like phantoms into the fog. There are a few casualties amongst the mercenaries, but the boat's crew have been decimated. The pirate berserkers trapped them below deck and slaughtered them. Only one escaped the murderous blades. The captain takes command, marshalling repairs and overseeing the burial of the dead. As their bodies sink beneath the dark waters, Kazanara emerges from the mist to the welcoming sight of Loyan. Loyan, city of flowers, city of wine, greets you, its towers, timbered houses, and fortified perimeter walls silhouetted against the sky. It lies in the shadow of the Senas, at a dangerous bend where the fast-flowing Storn undercuts the sheer slopes of Mount Prindar. The captain docks at the Loyan quay for provisions, and as his men busy themselves with a myriad of duties and tasks, you accompany him on a visit to the Loyan apothecary. The entrance to this famed establishment is marked by a huge stone jar, creaking on its chains. The shop is vast and full of things that stirs your curiosity. Towers of contained liquids, mountains of coarse-grained powders, forests of roots and herbs crowd the bleached wooden shelves. The captain seeks medicines of strength and healing in readiness for the battles ahead, and the herb master's eyes widen with delight as he reads the captain's list. They are his most expensive preparations. If you wish to examine some of the potions, turn to page 2. If you wish to look at the other shops, I will look at these potions. He has a health potion, a sleeping potion, an extra good health potion, some performance-enhancing drugs, and an even more, like he has poison rather than just sleeping poison. I'm getting low on money, but I don't need rope and long rope. Goodbye, normal rope. Hello, poison. And I guess I don't need 3 meals. Hello. Sleeping potion. But I just dropped a meal game. Oh no, it's that you could buy more than one. That's fine. Okay. Let the captain be served. You help the captain to carry his purchases, which fill 2 large wooden boxes. As you stagger from the apothecary, he tells you he is anxious to return to the boat without delay. His men are good soldiers, but poor sailors. He fears that without his watchful eye and stern command, they will forget their work and drink themselves to a stupor. His fears, however, prove unfounded, for upon your return to the quay, the Kazanara is fitted out and ready to sail. Cast off, booms the captain, enjoying the novelty of his new riverboat command. We'll make Rem by nightfall. The captain is as good as his word. As dusk settles over the Storn, you sail onto the horseshoe harbour at Rem. The city is choked with people, mercenaries from the north and west, weapons merchants from the east, and ragged refugees from the war-torn south. The captain orders his men to sleep aboard the Kazanora that night, forbidding them ashore, for Prince Balon of Remora and his mercenary knights are encamped inside the city. A bitter and long-standing rivalry exists between these two mercenary companies, and the captain wisely wishes to avoid a confrontation. Rumour has it that a number of the Stormland's most powerful princes are gathered here to plot the defeat of the Slovians. However, the captain believes it is more likely that the robber barons are conspiring against each other to steal the riches of Takaro for themselves. You set sail at first light, bidding farewell to the slender twin towers of the Rem Citadel, which overshadows the city quay. The Storn flows southwards through steep-sided fields of vines, arranged in endless straight rows like the waves of a green sea. The weather is warm, and you spend the day on deck watching the traffic of refugees heading north along a highway, and the strange, gigantic toads. The sloats? Okay, these are called sloats. The gigantic toads are called sloats, at work pulling riverboats and barges upstream. It is late afternoon when you sight the town of End-User License Agreement in the distance. You saddle your horse and shoulder your equipment as the Kazanara berths at the town's wooden pier. We do have a ticket. I will not be staying with the captain. The town of End-User License Agreement has been turned into a large army encampment, its people having long since fled to the north, abandoning their homes and livestock to the gold-hungry soldiers. Soldiers from a dozen different nations rub shoulders with fighters of a less-than-human origin, united by their common greed. As you watch endless columns of soldiers marching towards the pall of black smoke rising in the south, your heart begins to sink. The city in which the Lawstone lies, Takaro, is a city under siege, a city that can withstand the onslaught of 10,000 fighting men. As you ride across the soot-blackened fields towards the siege works and entrenchments at the bank of the River Quall, you curse the war that threatens to defeat your quest. The town of End-User License Agreement has been turned into a large encampment. Turn to 280. You ride along a muddy path running the length of the ridge that overlooks a great stone bridge. High stone walls and a fortified gatehouse rise steeply from the riverbank, and the only access to the city is across the bridge. You stare at the battlements of Takaro with growing despair, for they bristle with archers and cauldrons of molten lead. The burnt-out hulks of siege towers and the bodies of dead soldiers lie strewn in heaps before the battered stone city gate. From where you are, you can see the cathedral spire silhouetted in the glow of innumerable fires in the center of Takaro. If it were not for this accursed war, you would be in the crypt in less than an hour. You see that before you, the path dips steeply towards a line of tents, erected behind a wall of earth and logs. They overflow with wounded from countless assaults across the bridge. If you have healing, you may help them. The conditions inside the tent are appalling. Badly Wounded men lie on a muddy ground with nothing but rags dressing their injuries. Many are without boots, which have been stolen by their treacherous commanders, or comrades, sorry, who take advantage of their helplessness. One such man is cutting the purse from an unconscious soldier when you enter the hut. He leaps to his feet and attacks you with a curved knife. Yeah, we'll fight him. Bring it. Insta-killed. Raise your hand to me. Prizing the pouch out of the thief's hand, you return it to the pocket of the unconscious soldier. Many of the wounded men witness what you have done, and from that moment you are a hero to them. Your use of your healing skill to cure their many wounds strengthens their esteem and devotion, and they pledge themselves to help you however they can. If you wish to ask if there is any way of getting into the city undetected, turn to this page. We will, of course, ask them. Some laugh and look at you as though you are crazy, but one calls you over to his side and hands you a leather tube. It is a map, he whispers. I don't know how you can enter the city, but if you do find a way, this map will be of use. You thank the injured man and leave the tent. Unless you already have a map of the city, mark it. Yes, please. Hello, map. Another special item. Turn to 70. The path ends at a point where the rivers Stwarn and Qual converge in a V-shaped bank. Organ, engineers and carpenters are busy at work constructing pontoons for floating bridges, which look like enclosed rowing boats that are destined to be used to cross the river further downstream. Staring out across the water, you notice a dark shadow like the entrance to a cave at the base of the city wall. After concentrating for a few moments, you find you can make out the dull crisscross of metal bars. It's a sewer outfall. If you ask the organs what they know about the sewer, click here. If you wish to take a pontoon and row across the river, let's ask them. You're looking at the hellhole. When the siege began, Prince Uvine sent 10 humans in there to find out where it leads. When they never came back, he sent 10 organs. We ain't seen none of them since. Another organ, who is splitting a log with his bare hands, overhears the conversation. We heard noises in the hellhole late at night. Horrible noises. He draws a finger across his throat before returning to his work. Sure, we'll ask for a boat. They won't let you touch the pontoons. If any go missing, they'll be whipped. And they watch you carefully. The water is cold, it saps your strength. Unless you have resist cold and heat, lose 1 hit point. Oh no, what a terrible fate! My healing skill immediately heals that up by turning the page. There is a gaping hole in the crisscrossed bars, large enough for you to pass through with ease. The fetid water that is combed by this grill contains all manner of filth, a veritable feast for rats and vermin. As you wade deeper into the tunnel, you gradually realize the sewer is completely free of rats, and indeed it seems devoid of all life. Circular chutes appear at regular intervals in the tiled ceiling. They are too small and slippery to climb. 15 minutes after entering the sewer, you arrive at a junction where 2 channels flow into the main course. We do have a map. In the dim light of the sewer, you can just barely discern the outlines of the curtain wall and the streets of Takaro on your map. The cathedral is in the city centre, approximately half a mile from the point where the 2 rivers meet. Due east from the point at which you entered the sewers, you fold the map and set off again towards your objective. 100 yards along the passage, you see a flight of stone steps ascending to a stone trapdoor, flush with the ceiling. Don't you open that trapdoor! The trapdoor is heavy and stiff, but gradually, its seal of rust cracks and loosens under the pressure. Inch by inch, you force it open to reveal, at last, the cobblestoned city square. Across the square, directly ahead, is the cathedral. As the square is teeming with guards, you are forced to close the hatch quickly to avoid being detected. You estimate the cathedral is 200 yards due east. As you descend the steps and continue through the passage, you pray the sewer will give you access to the crypt. Less than 50 yards along the channel, another passage joins the main flow from the right. No. Stay along the main course. You press on diligently, counting the steps that take you along the sewer until you reach a narrow vault a little over 150 yards from the previous junction. An iron ladder, its rungs pitted with rust, rises from the water to an arched stone door. Beneath the door, the sewer continues into the darkness. Sure, we'll investigate the door. The door is old and decayed. It has not been opened for 100 years. If you are to find out what is beyond, you will need to clear a way. Well, we don't have resistance to heat and cold or psychic power, so sucks to be us. Go back the other way. Only brute force will break the seal of encrusted filth. Oh no, it gives us another way. Fight the door. Sure. You have defeated the door. The old stone door creaks slowly open. As the dust settles, you'll find yourself staring into the crypt of Tikaro Cathedral. Stepping into the chill, stale air, your heart begins to pound in your chest. The lore stone is here. You can feel it. Beams of ashen moonlight filter into the crypt, illuminating a line of somber granite tombs that lie like sleeping giants under the earth. Clutching the small silver key, you examine them one by one for the lock that guards the legendary lore stone. You find the lock and insert the key, but are suddenly distracted on the brink of discovery by the creature that is advancing through the sewer door. A huge lumbering monster stalks towards you, 10 feet high with thick twisted hairy limbs, 8-fingered hands tipped with razor-sharp talons. Baleful, monstrous eyes protrude from yellow slits on its glistening head, and a long reptilian tail whips behind it. It is hideous and peculiar gibbering. Its hideous and peculiar gibbering fills the moonlit crypt as it draws nearer. Shoot her! Trembling with fear, you draw a bowstring and fire. Your arrow glances off its head and shatters against the wall. There is no time for a second shot. You shoulder your bow and prepare. The Dacomiad. It has a lot of health, but it doesn't actually have that much skill. So, hopefully we are... He's withdrawing from the battle. Ah, if you reduce its health to 25 or less, do not continue combat, but instead go here. The crypt floor is crawling with the severed remains of the monster, which still writhe blindly forward with maniacal intent. Spider-like, a severed hand climbs your leg and embeds its talons in your flesh. As you fight to free yourself from its vice-like grip, the torn pieces of the Dacomiad's body gather themselves together. No, I want the stone. As the door creeps open, a sun-like radiance pours from the tomb and floods the crypt with golden light. Its searing intensity paralyzes the Dacomiad. You grasp the lore stone, and your senses reel with newfound wisdom and strength. Instinctively, you raise your weapon and strike the monster at the base of its hideous skull. It shrieks and dies instantly. Remember to remove the small silver key from your inventory. Yeah, I remember that picture. Before your eyes, the Dacomiad's skin ripples, as if a wave were washing beneath its skin. Suddenly, a crisscross of wrinkles appears, and layers of transparent bone peel and fall from its shell-like skull. Its body becomes hunched, shrinking and folding by the second, until all that is left is a film of dust on the floor of the crypt. Time has at last caught up with this ancient terror. As the golden light begins to fade, you stare at the object of your quest, the lore stone of Veretta. But all that you hold in your hands is a hollow sphere of glass, transparent and unremarkable to look at. Your quest has succeeded, for the power of the lore stone has been transfused to your body and mind. Its strength and wisdom are part of you, and the fusion signals the beginning of a new and deadly challenge on your quest for the Magna Chi. Be warned, this quest will draw you into the sinister realm where the malicious and terrible evil has grown in power since Sun Eagle first completed the Magna Chi quest. If you possess the courage of a true Chi Master, this challenge and quest awaits you in Book 7 of the Lone Wolf series entitled Castle Death. Oh, alright. Lovely. Not so lovely was the 3 insta-kills. Although one of those was my fault for not paying attention to where the Lordling was the Lordling of. I shouldn't have entered his city. But the other 2 were just kind of, oops, you've rolled the dice wrong, like you've picked the wrong choice, you insta-die. Oh well. Okay, join us next time for more.